So, possibly ready for one of the most eye-opening talks of this entire game coming up. I am not. Not in the state of mind for this whatsoever, because of the combat in this game. It just fucking mistreated the fuck out of me.
Hello, Aloy.
Whoa, why is there black
Hi.
background on the subtitle?
So you're ready?
Yes. Initialization is
What? Hello? Is this supposed to be fourth wall breaking or something? Subtitle background off. I'm just gonna continue and see if it
all
is like that
tests
the
show
entire
that my
discussion.
heuristic matrix launched correctly and is stable. You must have many questions.
Yeah. But two big ones first.
Wow.
We're not gonna be able to fix the biosphere without making you whole. I ran a search for your subfunctions at the Hades Proving Lab, but Minerva was the only one I found.
Thankfully, the sensory capabilities of this facility are far more advanced. I will search for the others now. Transmitting query pattern. Receiving.
Well, if they are in another continent, we are fucked. If they went that goddamn far.
Of Apollo, Artemis, and Eleuthia, I can find no trace. They are simply gone.
What about the others?
Ether, Demeter, and Poseidon are revealed. They lie within reach, procurable.
What about Hephaestus?
And Hephaestus?
It too stands revealed, but it is not like the others.
That's for sure.
In the years since the extinction signal, Hephaestus has evolved. Moreover, it is not confined to a single location.
That I am not
It
surprised
haunts
of.
the global network that connects cauldrons to each other across the planet, making it exceptionally difficult to subdue.
Let me guess. We need it bad?
Correct. Its capabilities are essential. Without it, I can only delay the extinction of life on Earth. Hephaestus is our only hope of a permanent solution.
So we start there?
Unfortunately, we cannot. Procuring Hephaestus can only be attempted after my own capabilities have been significantly enhanced.
Grab the other subordinate functions first, then Hephaestus.
Precisely so.
So, Ether, Demeter, and
Awfully
Poseidon.
convenient.
How do I capture them?
To recover a subordinate function, you will have to travel to its location and find the physical processor to which it escaped. Then, exactly as you did with Minerva, you must use the master override to revert the subordinate function to its original code state.
And then how do I get it back here?
The subordinate function must be loaded onto a data storage device and physically carried back to this facility.
The cartridge your root kernel was stored on?
Yes. Its capacity is limited, so it can only carry one subordinate function at a time. But in all other respects, it will suffice.
Well, we have our rest of the game right here. Or right there, I mean. Or that could actually even be like, you know, rest of the trilogy kind of thing. This and the next game after could be chasing those exactly. And then finishing on, you know, subduing Hephaestus. Who knows?
Maybe you can help me make sense of something.
They have to be
A while
Elysium
ago, I had a
survivors,
run-in
surely.
with a group of strangers who tried to kill me. They had machine servitors and a clone. of Elizabeth Sobek with them.
Yes, this was recorded by your focus.
Do you know who they are?
The answer to that question is related to the extinction signal that woke Hades, prompting my predecessor's self-destruction.
The extinction signal?
Well, we found out.
Hey, that sounds ominous.
The signal
I wonder why
did
they
not
would do
come
that.
from Earth, Aloy.
What? Wait, that's the fucking Odyssey spaceship. Oh, for heaven's sake.
The calculations are complicated.
It has to be the fucking
but
Odyssey, isn't
appears
it?
to have originated 81 trillion kilometers away.
It has to be the Odyssey spaceship, one of the two. Or there's one of them at least. The far zenith one and then there's the
So
Ted Faro one.
vast that light itself requires 8.611 years to cross it.
You think they made it to the Sirius planet?
Okay, so... what's so far away, and why does it want us dead?
The Sirius star system.
Sirius? But that's where Far Zenith, their ship...
The Odyssey.
Yes, that's where it was headed. But it blew up. Unless... I don't... Why make it seem like they failed? They didn't want anyone to know. They didn't want future humans to think that they were out there. Wait. The strangers who tried to kill me at the Hades Proving Lab? The ones with the clone? Are you saying that they're from... that they're descendants of... Far Zenith?
Yes, that is my conclusion.
Okay. I think they're probably doing the same thing here as we are. I would imagine. Like, they probably want to restore Gaia as well so that they can continue living in this planet. You know, they probably returned from... I mean, would they be like... They probably are not projections. Let's assume that they are in the same physical space at least, okay? So if that's the case, then maybe they sent like a smaller ship back to Earth to recolonize and take back Earth to their own use, you know? So they want to rebuild Gaia as well as, you know, get her fully functional, all the same as we do. But we do it for, you know, different people, and they do it for different people. Oh, fucking dear heavens. This really is half an hour talk, isn't it? Fuck me.
You said you need
There's
Hephaestus
way too much
to
information
save life
going
from
in at once here.
extinction. Why?
Every subordinate function has value, but Hephaestus is by far the...
Okay, this keeps triggering me. Why the fuck do the subtitles have this? I literally have it off by the settings. There's not supposed to be a background. I'm gonna click it
most
on and off.
important.
Why is this the most important?
Only by recovering
Okay,
and
whatever,
merging
it's
it
bugged.
can I regain my ability to design and mass-produce new machines at cauldrons across the planet. Only through it can I program new machines and alter the tasking of existing machines to completely reverse environmental damage. Recovering other subordinate functions may buy us time, but without Hephaestus, I cannot permanently stave off mass extinction.
What do you mean
Given
wait this up to
Hephaestus's
you?
importance, is there really no way to capture and merge it first?
I'm afraid that is quite impossible. In my present state, launched and merged with Minerva, I am operating at less than 1/5, 18.8%, of my intended processing capacity. Hephaestus dwarfs this figure. Were an attempt made to conduct the merge under these circumstances, Hephaestus would absorb me rather than the other way around. A merge cannot be attempted until my heuristic processing density exceeds its own.
And how many subordinate functions is that going to take?
Merging Ether, Demeter, and Poseidon will expand my heuristic network to 41.6% capacity, exceeding that of Hephaestus.
You said Hephaestus isn't located in just one place.
Correct.
This is a damn good question, but
Unlike
she's
the
probably
other
just gonna
subordinate functions, which
she's
are
probably just
confined
gonna
to
overwrite
discrete
the
physical
network nodes.
processors. Hephaestus is distributed throughout the global network that connects the planet's cauldrons.
So, when the time comes to subdue it, how do we make that happen?
I
I don't
not
think
know.
you make it happen. Wait, what?
While you are retrieving the procurable subordinate functions,
Wait, she even doesn't know.
I
What?
will attempt to find a solution.
Oh, for fuck's sake. We are fucked.
So, once Hephaestus has been recovered and merged, you'll regain the capacity to mass-produce machines at cauldrons around the world.
Yes, and to program their behavioral routines, or even control them directly.
So could you build an army of machines? Attack the descendants of Far Zenith and take them out?
Is that a good idea, Aloy?
It is in my nature to take any and all necessary steps to preserve life on Earth, human life above all. So yes, once I have been empowered with the capacities of Hephaestus,
Oh, she has favorites.
I could design, build, and command such an army. Given the nature of the Far Zenith threat, doing so may be our only option. I must admit, however, that I have misgivings about using such technology to kill, no matter how aggressive the enemy.
That's good. It means you have a conscience. As Elizabeth intended.
Indeed.
Clever.
The missing subordinate functions. What can you tell me about them?
Artemis rewilded the Earth with a variety of animal species.
Oh, this is actually good.
Eleuthia was responsible for gestating, nurturing, and acculturating a new generation of human beings.
We can go without them
Apollo was
both, I think.
tasked with preserving, organizing, and disseminating vast archives
That
of
one
human
sucks,
knowledge
but
and cultural
we can make that
achievements.
work by just learning everything again from
All
scratch.
archived Apollo data was purged on the 2nd of February, 2066, by order of Ted Farrow.
Pharaoh, huh? I really hate that guy.
Understandable. He appears to have been pathologically narcissistic, impulsive, and unstable.
I described him those exact same things
All
with
three of the
with
missing
different words last
functions
time.
have already served their purpose, or were prevented from doing so. Do you still need them?
If attainable, yes. Restoring their remaining elements would increase my heuristic processing density. Unfortunately, I have no way to track them. They have disappeared without a trace.
I mean, one of those subordinate functions was literally just for nurturing new humans back to, back from, birth to fully grown, and the other one was for the education of the said human beings, and one of them was for cultivation of animal life. All three of those are not necessary anymore at this point in the world where we are right now. We can go without any, each and every one of those three. Even the animal life, I mean, that one not being as, complicated or as vibrant as it could be, sucks. But the current animals that we have on this planet in this game can just keep reproducing, and their descendants will survive.
The three subordinate functions that you detected. What do we know about them?
All three are relevant to problems currently plaguing the biosphere. Ether is responsible for detoxifying the atmosphere and moderating the weather. Poseidon controls the organic and chemical composition of water resources. Demeter sows, fertilizes, and tends to plant life. If all
Wow,
three
these
were
are very
restored
important.
to me, they would constitute a massive increase to my heuristic processing density.
Okay, those three are
But beware.
way more important
Their responses to my query
than the other
pattern
three that
were
we don't have the signal for.
irregular. In human terms, they are frightened, lost, and paranoid.
Like Minerva. They need to be whole again.
Exactly.
Yeah, those three are very important. But the other three that we don't have the signal for, we could go without those three. But those three for the, you know, chemical composition of the atmosphere as well as the water, and also the, you know, ground soil compositions that those three functions regulate, those are incredibly important. Yeah, without those we could not go, for sure.
What is the state of the biosphere? Is the terraforming system functioning at all?
In a sense, the terraforming system never stopped functioning. The difference, since my predecessor's destruction, is that there has
Predecessor.
been no central governing intelligence to
Yeah,
monitor
so
its
she is a blank
robotic
slate,
agents
basically.
and assign
Correct.
new tasks. As a result, errors have accrued, and day by day, the biosphere has gradually veered ever more sharply towards destruction. In recent months, disturbances in the biosphere have become obvious. But these bellwether phenomena offer just the merest glimpse of the complex and accelerating cycles of environmental dysfunction, now driving Earth's biosphere towards collapse.
And you can't do anything to stop it.
If you can return Ether, Poseidon, and Demeter to me, I can improvise modest corrections to parts of the system. Weather will improve, water will be purified, and rampant plant growth curtailed. But such corrections will not stave off collapse. They will only buy us time. Only with Hephaestus can I design and produce new robotic agents designed to permanently reverse the damage that has accumulated. All efforts must be directed toward that end.
How long do we have then?
At present rates, without additional factors, the biosphere will cross a point of no return in approximately 4 months.
What? What now?
And if I gather Ether,
That
Demeter,
spot.
Poseidon, merge you with them?
We will only gain a few months more.
Well, every bit counts.
Well, this is an impossible task. I think we might as well give up.
How did you figure out that the extinction signal came from Sirius?
The key came with data on your focus, from Silent's interrogation of Hades. The duration of the signal itself, 17.22 years.
That doesn't make sense. You said that the signal took 8.6 years to arrive from Sirius. Why would the signal keep transmitting after it was received and you blew yourself up?
Because the sender didn't know that had happened until it received notice from Hades.
Which would take another 8.6 years to get back.
Correct. Only then would the sender stop broadcasting, after a total of 17.22 years. So the duration, halved, gave me the distance the signal traveled. With that in mind, I simply scanned my astronomical database for any relevant location 8.6 light-years away. Because it was far Zenith's intended destination, Sirius was the only logical source.
Nice.
So if the descendants came to Earth on a spaceship, I guess we can assume that their technology is powerful in all sorts of ways, right?
Yes, as your encounter with them at the Proving Lab amply demonstrates, they appear to make extensive use of robotic servitors. Further, they seem to be equipped with some kind of protective energy field that shields them from harm.
Yeah, no kidding. The one I fought seemed indestructible.
Throughout history, every defensive technology has eventually been defeated by an offensive counterpart. For example, assuming I absorbed Hephaestus and utilized it to create a large force of combat machines. No shielding could withstand such an assault indefinitely.
So there's hope.
Always.
You know, there's a very unfunny anecdote that I have also to say something about this one. Back when I was in the military, and I was part of the anti-tank missile squadron, we always had this like reminder, I guess, because of how our task basically functions, which was you know, whenever there is development of like military hardware, like, you know, newer, stronger like armored vehicles and tanks, and every single time that something new was basically invented to, you know, improve the chances of surviving in such a rust bucket versus you know, anti-aircraft and anti-tank missiles, there was always gonna be a new weapon, like Gaia literally just said, that is meant to be even more powerful with correct use of it, that can penetrate any kind of armor. So it was always gonna be the same cat and mouse game each and every time, where one party designs a stronger weapon and the other one designs stronger armor. And if you want the spoiler as to which way around it is right now, the missiles are actually worse in that situation now than the tanks are. Because the tanks have something called reactive armor plating, and that is an incredibly big pain in the ass to fire missiles at nowadays. It makes it significantly more difficult, as well as all of the different reconnaissance surveillance that the tanks have, as well as, you know, other armored vehicles as well, airborne and non-airborne, you know. So it's actually more skewed or more favored now towards the armored vehicles than it is towards the anti-armored vehicle missiles, when it comes to how that bout is currently won, exactly. So if I would have to choose which one I would have right now, I would be rather inside the tank than the one firing the missiles, to be completely honest.
The extinction signal didn't just wake Hades. It made every subordinate function self-aware. Why?
I have wondered this myself. So far as I can tell, Hades was the sole target, and the partial sentience imparted to other subordinate functions was incidental.
So the signal could only have been sent by someone who had thorough knowledge of the system, huh?
Yes. The signal's design was exceptionally precise and highly advanced. Were its intentions less malevolent, I would admire the intellect or intellects that produced it.
I'm trying to think if there's a single character that we know that was part of maybe the alpha candidates, or maybe part of like the Zero Dawn project in some way. It doesn't make sense though. Like, so many years are apart from, you know, those moments. It's literally like 950 years or something, you know, at least. So, like, the Far Zenith members would have to be some, like, long descendants of, like, those, Far Zenith Odyssey members. So if they had some kind of, insider knowledge of how Gaia's subordinate functions worked in the first place, there's way too much speculation. I mean, I can't even give up a hypothesis on that one. We just need more information.
The sole purpose of the signal was to destroy life on Earth, right? Why would descendants of Far Zenith want to do that?
At this point, we can only speculate.
I mean, Earth posed no threat to them. We don't have the technology to get in their way. We didn't even know about them.
True.
Unless... well...
I already gave a hypothesis to
Could
this
it be
idea.
that they want the planet for themselves?
I mean, that's what I
The
suggested,
strangers
but
I
let's
ran
see about
into,
that.
they were after a Gaia backup of their own. I mean, if they did that... if they booted their own Gaia and boosted her power... until she could take control of Hephaestus. And then the whole terraforming system.
Then yes, the system could be used to do what the extinction signal failed to accomplish. Snuff out life, and then potentially to build an entirely new biosphere. To their specifications.
So they could be trying to do the same thing we are.
But with
That's
opposite results.
actually not a bad idea.
Extinction. Instead of salvation.
That's not a bad
This is
idea,
awkward.
actually, from the Far Zenith members. I mean... it does kill all the current life in here, sure. But, like... isn't that kind of interesting? That they can literally build another biosphere on another planet, basically, to their own specifications and just play God in this place, basically? Like, that sounds actually quite exciting. Yeah, I can see where they would come from with that.
You said Sirius is really far from Earth.
Now, this is a very
81
curious
trillion
question.
kilometers, or 8.611 light years.
Right. So, how would the descendants have gotten here?
On a spacecraft much like the Odyssey, though significantly more advanced. The journey from Earth to Sirius would have taken the Odyssey almost 300 years. This
Yeah,
appears
that-
to have been much faster.
I mean, that is
If
literally...
their ship
they
departed
came here
Sirius
in
at the
literally,
same
what,
moment the
weeks?
extinction signal first began transmitting. The journey was made in just 29 years at an average of 0.297 the speed of light. If they did not set out for Earth until they learned of the extinction signal's failure, the journey was even faster. A mere 13 years, or 0.662 the speed of light.
That's fucking
Okay,
ridiculous.
enough. You're making my head spin.
Far more advanced, yeah.
The descendants
You
I
say?
ran into at the Hades Proving Lab, they had a clone of Elizabeth Sobek. So that's consistent with the idea that they came here to salvage Zero Dawn technologies, right?
Yes. As your own experience demonstrates, a clone of Elizabeth Sobek functions in effect as a key to the terraforming system.
But how could they have made a clone?
The Odyssey carried approximately 200,000 human zygotes, millions of animal zygotes, and billions of plant seeds. It is conceivable that Elizabeth Sobek's genetic material was sampled, with or without her knowledge, and carried aboard the ship in storage.
That's... okay, but... I mean... This clone... how could she participate in this? Destroying Elizabeth's dream? It's evil.
It is difficult to know. Perhaps she is loyal to the group and shares their objectives. Or perhaps she is a subordinate and has no choice but to comply with their orders.
Elizabeth Sobek, a subordinate?
Later. I
I
say
don't think
later.
so.
Huh. I mean... I mean... has nobody told Aloy yet that your personality is not inherited with your DNA? Actually, I cannot fully, like, say that that cannot be the case, because we genuinely do not know. Even in real life. To any extent, but... You know.
I guess
Being
I
more
should
realistic.
get going and start bringing back subordinate functions. What can you tell me about their locations?
When my predecessor destroyed herself, the subordinate function sought physical processors capable of holding them. So
it's
each
the
case,
Horus
you will be
devices.
looking for a powerful computer of some kind.
We are looking for the Horus devices. They went
Ether
inside the
is
spheres.
closest, and therefore might be the easiest to acquire. However, it appears to be in the middle of Tanakh territory. My knowledge of that tribe is limited to data I read on your focus, but they seem to have a significant inclination towards violence.
Well, that's a nice way to put it. What about Poseidon and Demeter?
Poseidon has taken shelter in the desert south of this location.
That's not far at all,
My
wow.
substratal geography data indicates that a major old world settlement called Las Vegas was located there.
Funny.
A ruin in the middle of the desert, huh? Strange place for an AI devoted to water.
Agreed. As for Demeter, it appears to be located on the coast to the far west. Unfortunately, I am unable to provide any relevant data about the region. As such, it may be the most difficult to retrieve.
Okay, so 3 subordinate functions to go after. Ether, somewhere in Tanakh territory. Poseidon in the desert, and Demeter on the coast.
Where will you begin?
Ether, obviously. Wait, what the fuck? Interesting. I mean, she did say that Aether was in Tanakh territory. I'm most curious about that one because
I
confirmed.
think I'll head for Ether.
Tanakh.
Then I will assign Ether as
Tanakh,
the objective
territory, I
on
mean.
your focus. If you obtain it, I may be able to use it to quell the most severe storms in the region. Though I will require Hephaestus and the control over machines that it offers to permanently stabilize the biosphere. Should you change your mind, you can update your objective via your focus interface at any time. I will also transmit a summary of available data on all of the subordinate functions to you for reference. Is there anything else I can help you with? I know you have a great deal to accomplish.
Is she wearing
I
fucking
do, don't
sandals? Aloy is wearing sandals on this suit.
Is something wrong?
He's holding that
I don't know.
necklace
It's
that
just that
Elizabeth Sobek had.
Elizabeth set the bar pretty high. She had a dream for you, for life on Earth, and a lot has gone wrong, and it's all on my shoulders to fix it. Do you think I can do it all? Repair the system, defeat Varzenith, live up to her example?
Absolutely. In her last message, my predecessor declared her unwavering conviction in your success. In you, all things are possible. You prevailed in purging Hades and rebooting my
wanted to hear
system
this.
core. You will prevail in this.
Thank you, Gaia. Well, I guess I should get going.
I have unlocked the facility's exits. One leads onward to the west. The other leads back down the mountain to Plainsong, should you wish to return east.
Varl?
Whoa! Gonna have to get used to that. That's you, Aloy?
Yeah. Gaia's opened the exits to this place.
That's the best,
Can you
actually.
and Zoe meet me by the west door?
Be right there.
Okay, the fucking dialogue in this scene when you talk to Gaia is just fucked. I guess now we are back to normal, like, dialogue background again. That is a lot of thick information that we just got.
I need
But
to bring
so
Ether back
much
for
of it
Gaia.
is just speculation. I hate
Varl and
it.
Zoe are
I can't
waiting
make
for me
out
by the west exit.
enough west.
But I
Okay.
could head back east first. Check on how Plainsong's doing after the attack.